Listen up, Rangers. Welcome to the Geek Chest. My name's Steve. Today we're gonna give this guy some articulation. Well, more articulation. I figure I'll start with the small one here because this is probably one a lot of you got a hold of, that or the big one. We will do the big one here in the near future. That one is going to require a lot more joints and be a lot more complicated. This video I just kind of want to show you usually my thought processes when I want to add joints to something. Which hasn't been a whole heck of a lot, but because I had a lot of questions with that Zilla video that I did, wanted to kind of do a little updated process on that. So we're going to add 3 joints specifically, 5 total. I'm going to actually leave the tail alone because it's a bendy tail, so I think overall that's fine. That and the material, I'd be kind of wary putting joints in anyways. But for the rest of this, we're going to give him some elbow joints. We're going to give him hands, so his hands can move. And then the key one, we're going to do the neck here. I don't think I'm going to do 2. Like, if you wanted to do 2, you could do 2. You could go crazy. You could add a chest articulation, stuff like that. I think I'm going to try to save that more for the big guy, because I kind of want him to just have like a fun one. That's our fully articulated. And then one to pose next to the X Plus whenever that comes out. But anyways, alright, so first and foremost, I guess we'll start with the easier ones, because these are going to be 2 different joints. The joints I'm going to be using, and a lot of you guys have been asking, are they're called modular assistant ball joints. I got these off eBay. They're also, you can find them on Amazon. When you go to search for them, just make sure you search hobby ball joints, and they'll pop up pretty high. They're actually fairly, eBay wise, they're fairly inexpensive. They take a minute to get here, but fairly inexpensive. But what I got here is the ball joint sets 1 and 2, which they just call them ball joints. These ones are like legit ball joints. These are more like a friction joint. And then I also have legit ball joints, but those we don't really need for what we're doing because we're not really looking to make anything that posable. Just enough to, like, pretty much here I just want to be able to rotate the head and maybe get like a little bit more movement out of it. Same with the hands. Mainly just want to be able to rotate it, a little more movement, and I want better elbow bends. So these 2 joints in particular will work really great for that. So first we're going to start with the easy ones, which I got some stuff here for another video. Which are going to be the hands and the elbows. Head's going to be the hard one because we're going to have to get that clean off the body there. But anyways, I got my X-Acto knife here. So what I'm going to do is literally just chop the hands off, chop the elbow off, then go from there. If you wanted, you could heat it up to make it a little easier, but we're more for speed here for this kind of video. But make sure you're just going straight down. You don't want to cut towards yourself. If you don't like your cuts, you can always come back and clean them up. Like this one, I'll have to shave a little bit more off there. There we go. And then what we will do, I'll come back to that. We want to get the elbow. To be honest, I noticed this the other day because when I was doing the diorama, you can literally just rip these right off if you want to. Because for some odd reason, there actually is a peg there. But we will have to clean this up afterwards. There's a little peg that goes inside of there, so that's where part of our joint is. I want to take, I know at least this part off for certain. And that's just going to go straight down. Probably we'll have to do a little bit of sanding here just to get everything to work appropriately, but mostly what's torn off here. I guess since I'm waiting for my Dremel to charge, we could try to get this head off. This is the scary part. This is the part I might heat up because I need it to be as warm as possible. Alright, we heated them up. Let's do this. One side's clean. Alright, the head's off. And I always gotta make sure I get the right part of the spine, which I need this right here. There we go. So now his head's removed. Sorry, my AC kicked on in the background. I'll pause it right here so it won't be so annoying, and we'll cut back to putting the joints in. Alright, so we got everything chopped up. First and foremost, got to find the appropriate drill bit that you need. So, this one's got all my pegs on it. We'll go with this. You kind of want to find the one that you think is going to well suit you. And I'm thinking it's going to be the smaller one on here. These guys look like maybe a little bit too big. So we're just going to go with 2 of these. Probably should actually use my good ones. Just using that to rip up some plastic because those guys are kind of smashed a bit. But these kind of just come off just like a model kit. So you just need a pair of nippers. You can twist them off too if you want to brute force it, but I don't quite recommend it. I don't know if I want to call them knockoffs, but they're not like they work really good, but it doesn't take a whole heck of a lot of effort to really break them though. If you bend them the wrong way. Because they're almost like, not soft, but not as hard as you think they'd be. But just put these together. Put this into a hole. This is the hardest part for me for reasons, because I got giant hands. There we go. And then you can drill your holes. Now, if you don't want to get super crazy, you don't have to, but I'll show you guys how I would generally go about this. But for these, you just want to make sure you size up the right drill bit for your to make sure that it inserts. Looks like I'm going to have to be a little bit bigger than this one, which I think is this dude here. That looks about right. Yeah, so this guy will work. I think I already had the correct bit in there because I was doing some sanding earlier. Yep. And then you just drill into both sides of the arms. So you're going to want to drill into here. Try to get center mass. Like so. And these will slide right in. So I can rotate. Do the same thing for here. Want to try to get center mass. For these, I'm actually going to go pretty decently in because I'm not too worried about breaking anything or ripping. Like so. Alright, so before I do more drilling, I mentioned I was going to use these small ones for the hands here. I'm actually going to use these slightly larger ones because they're pretty much the same size as that little flange for the hand. So I'm actually going to shave these off, which I might have an issue with this one putting it back on, but we'll figure that out once we get there. So I think I'm just going to glue one side in, and the other side can be where all the joints can be happening. So, I'm going to drill in for our head. Same thing here. It's a little soft, so it likes to catch. Same thing for the hands, but I don't want to go in too far. think that's about as far as I'm getting with that. And then same for the arms here. Clean it up a little bit. Alright, so, fun part. This is probably where... Oh, my dog hears people outside. Shinji, you're fine. Okay, so this will just slot into here. Although that doesn't make so much sense to me now that I think about it, because the way the flange is, I'm going to be wanting that in there. So, what we have to do is pop these guys out. And these we're actually probably going to glue in, just to make sure that they stay nice and tight in there. We're going to have to do the same for the other side too, but we're going to have to do the fun part with a little bit of customizing. So a little drip of glue, a little drip of glue. And then just push them in. Uh-oh. That hardened very fast. Alright, now the fun part. We gotta do the same thing for the hands. Now, the way they're set, this probably is not going to inset all the way in. So, I'm going to have to chop off quite a bit of this. I'd say about half. And then this, I can't really get around it. I just got the glue in here, shove it in really quick and hope for the best. Like that. So that one's hooked in. Alright, so the one thing I at least recorded it, oops, is that I hollowed out a little bit of the inside of the head here because I wanted to hide this joint a bit better. That, and it was kind of hindering the movement a bit. So now I get a little bit more play with it because I at least wanted it enough to move to where it's natural for the body. Alright, so after gluing that part in, he can look a little bit up and down. Get a little bit side to sides, not going to be that great. Because with these joints you can only get one direction. But the main thing I wanted was to be able to rotate the head. Because the way the neck joint is, it doesn't need to be super crazy for posability. I just mainly wanted to be able to like turn his head a little bit so he can shoot the beam. And you can get a little bit more crazy. You can use the double ball joints, which definitely get you a lot more range of motion. You can just use the basic fringe joints instead of buying multiple different packages. It's just with these you get a little bit more range of motion out of them and a better rotation than you would with this, because now you'd have this giant ball in the middle. But it still would give you enough play to work with. But that's essentially it. I'll get a little bit more complicated in another video showing you guys how, but I just wanted to kind of just give you guys a video on the joints that I've been using and then just how to kind of apply them to certain things. So make sure to keep an eye out for the Giant MechaGodzilla sometime in the near future, that or if I do any more custom action figures, because I'm sure we'll do some more on here as well. But this is primarily just so that you guys could be able to easily do one yourself and do one decently comfortably. If you guys are trying to figure out a way in order to want to get your little bit more play out of your figures. But anyways, help us do those guys by hitting the like button, subscribe, become a Ranger today. We also got Instagram, Patreon, Pinterest, Facebook. Guys, like people that do a channel and donate would also greatly appreciate it. And if you guys hit the little annotation bell, another way to keep up with the channel. And we'll see you guys in the next video. Bye bye.